Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. Today I was focusing on UFC content. If you guys don't know, I make UFC content for the MVPs on Patreon, on YouTube. Yes, it's a premium membership. You can't just watch the videos because you can now go bet on the fights with all my picks. Shout out to them. Yeah, I think we're picking something crazy on locks, something like 78%, right? Shout out to me. But while I make the videos, every single time I post the video on Patreon, on YouTube, I will then check Twitter, because I've probably taken about an hour to make the video. So I go check it, see what's going on. And I watch Twitter right now, and I just saw a post by the transfer portal from Rivals. And they've been putting out these bullshit rankings about the transfer portal and the grades they're giving. Now, number one, I'm not giving grades. I didn't make any videos to give grades. I will be doing my assessment on every single team's transfer portal for the collective offseason, not just the spring. But in here, it said transfer portal spring grades. Just want to be clear. They said the spring, not the winter included. So if you look up here, how did the Big Ten program do in the spring transfer portal window? And they got these terrible grades. So let's go talk about it. I'm going to pull up each team. I'm going to go one team at a time in the Big Ten. It's right here. So let's go to the top, and we'll go in alphabetical order, and we'll start with Illinois. And Illinois, these guys gave Illinois a C-. Now, I don't know if they're assessing their departures included in that grade, like who they lost, minus maybe their net gain of some sort. But if I'm just looking at it from what it is, and you got to look right here, the dates, okay? So the guys they got in the spring, if you go to transfers coming in, they got 4 guys. Okay, their first guy is Terrence Brooks. The fact that Illinois got Terrence Brooks from Texas is a damn A. That's an A. What are we talking about? They got Terrence Brooks from Texas. Illinois has been addressing their secondary. They also got Chase Canada from the junior college ranks. Great guy, was with them all spring. But they still keep assessing and addressing the corner position. So they get Terrence Brooks and they get Torrey Cox. And Torrey Cox was the last minute transfer because he was going to go to UMass. He gave UMass a verbal commitment. I talk to UMass's NIL guy every day if I want to. Dudes in my DMs all the time. Hey Rico, who else should we get? Who else can we talk to? Who else you think is in our range? And a lot of teams reach out to me. I talk to a ton of teams, their position coaches, their NIL, whoever needs help, and I identify the players in the transfer portal that still fit their needs. This is what I do, okay? So when I tell you Torrey Cox flipping to Illinois is a big get because this is a young man that can actually play football. Yes, he's undersized. I got it. Only 5'8". But that's a good football player. They got 2 other guys, one defense lineman from FAMU, and then a young man, a tight end. And forgive me, I don't know where St. Anselm Hawks are. I know a lot of schools. I don't know St. Anselm Hawks, okay? Couldn't find any tape on this tight end. Congratulations. They're digging in the crates. They found one. But give them a C-? A C- because they got Terrence Brooks from Tech. Like, what are we doing? Who did they lose? Why are we saying this? Transfers going out from the spring transfer portal. Who's the big deal here? Who is it? And Andrew Dennis? Is that what you're worried about? I'm looking around. I'm trying to figure it out. Anthony Johnson was a guy who just showed up from wherever they're from. What's the school before that? Up in Ohio. Youngstown State. That guy doesn't move me. I don't care where he went. I don't care he went to Mississippi State. Not a big move. The Salukis, you lost a player to the Salukis. Shout out to them. I'm not moved by any of this shit. I don't understand it. C- doesn't feel right. No. It's a B all day, bro. They got themselves 2 corners. They're obviously addressing a position of need, and I think they went after it. The next team is Indiana. And the grade they gave Indiana was a B-. And they've been missing on Indiana the whole time, all offseason. You're telling me you're giving Indiana a B- from this cycle? Out of your mind, bro. If I go and look at who Indiana gained in the transfer portal this spring, it starts off with Sedarius Doss. This is an FCS All-American corner. Yes, he's undersized. I don't care. DJ Warnell coming over from Arizona. This is depth in the secondary. He's actually a former UCLA guy. went to Arizona. He was at UCLA before Arizona. D'Angelo Ponce, freshman All-American, keeping him on the team from JMU. Getting a running back who didn't play last year, Solomon Van Horst. If he did play, that's news to me. But he used to be a good running back at JMU years ago. Knows the coaching staff. They believe in him. They trust him. Najee Logan, one of the top tacklers out of UMass last year. It's a great talent to get. And he's 6'3", 220, bro. Like, this is a great player right here. CJ West beating out every team for CJ West defensive tackle. This is a stud defensive tackle out of Kent State. A problem. And then you go and get Pearson. I don't know much about him. Shout out to Valpo. And then you get Andrew, who's a recruit. Highly touted recruit. I don't like to talk about recruits who didn't make the field. I don't like to talk about recruits with a ton of potential because you haven't earned the right to play on the field. But all those players, and you're telling me B-? What? Ridiculous, bro. A+. Indiana in the spring transfer portal, A+. I'm letting you know right now, A+. Embarrassing that they had the nerve to say B-. Let's go to Iowa. If you got rid of Deacon Hill, you're doing great. Iowa in the spring transfer portal got Cade Burrode from North Dakota. That's an FCS kid. You need an alignment. You got somebody you know who's tough. That's your guy. Then you go and get quarterback depth and Brendan Sullivan, the former starting quarterback, or who was going to be the starting quarterback at Northwestern. I'm not mad at it. And then he brings a wide receiver with him. Shout out to Jacob Gill. That's continuity. I'm cool with it. C+. I don't know. He might be your starter. The way Cade McNown's been playing, he hasn't finished a season in 2 years. Your quarterback is a kid from Michigan who hasn't finished one season in the last 2 years due to injury. And you're banking on him? I think they found themselves a guy just in case. And Brendan Sullivan can do that damn thing. He can lace it. You better believe it. I believe in Brendan Sullivan. You know how much I believe in Brendan Sullivan? I think he's better than Michigan's starter. That's how good I think Brendan Sullivan is. I think he's better than Michigan's starter. Get at me. Maryland. They gave Maryland a C. They gave Maryland a C for one player, Isaiah Wright, coming over from Buffalo. Bruh, if they got a C for one player, how the hell did Illinois get a C-? Getting two starting caliber corners. There's no logic here. That's wild. Michigan got a C+? Are you shitting me? Michigan got a C+ in the spring? You're crazy. These players they got, they're actually pretty damn decent players. Amir Hall, this corner right here from Albany, stud. Absolute stud. Wesley Walker can play football. These guys have been on the field. Jaden Mangum, I think he had 4 interceptions last year. Ricky Johnson, I want to say he's honorable mention all conference. What are we doing? Michigan in the spring, at least a B. At least. I like them a lot more than that. I'm telling you, man, this is nuts. When's the last time a stud player left Albany and became something? I'll wait. Yeah, his name was Jared Verse. It's about to happen. Michigan got a great spring transfer portal class. All these guys have experience, can play. I'm not saying they're going to be starters. They got great depth, great contributors. I was super impressed with them. Michigan State, yep, you're going to go out and give them a B-. Let's go down here and look. We start in April. Anthony Jones doesn't move me. K'Ron Adams, good running back coming out of UMass. Probably second or third running back on the team. I'm cool with it. Ed Woods coming over. Good player. Andrew Dennis, like I said, good depth. It's unfortunate that that Illinois lost him. Gillison, congratulations. You found more bodies, more people in the rotation. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't understand how obtaining players for the rotation hurts you. I'm not a fan of Nakai Martinez. That's just me. It is what it is. Cavanos does not pop on tape for me, but congratulations. Jeremiah Hughes, I'm sure a lot of people are big on him. Got the right size for a corner. Congratulations. And then Brigman can actually play some football. I just hope he gets his chance. Long story short, what's the problem? It's good depth. I like the grade. B- is fine. B is there. Just a lot of depth in the spring. I got no problem with it. Minnesota. Looking at Minnesota's transfers coming in from this spring makes me wonder how you rate players. Because for me, you're going to go out and give them a B. But what did you give these teams when they signed these kids out of high school? Because Jackson Howard is a former high 4-star player coming out of LSU. Right? Dylan Whitkey, I like him. Quiet. Hey, he's the last quarterback at Buford to actually win something. I want to hear about nobody else. Dylan Whitkey was winning at Buford. Not Dylan Raiola. It was this dude right here. I'm cool with him. Tyler Williams, former 4-star, another high 4-star guy leaving Georgia. Gives you a weapon. I'm cool with a lot of this stuff. I just think that there's nothing wrong. Well, this guy's 6'8", 390, dude. This dude is, Aluma is 6'8", 390. Whew. I'm cool with Minnesota. I thought they did well. Adam coming over from, these are good programs. You're getting transfers from Georgia, Clemson, LSU. B, feels a little right. Feels okay. I'm still just dumbfounded by the Indiana transfer. Like, they don't understand how good Indiana is. They don't have a clue. This is the same thing I did all last offseason when I talked about Colorado transfers. Like, people don't understand what they're seeing. Like, these websites, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I just saw them change the rankings of a player coming out of high school. They said, oh, he went from ranked 247th to ranked 47th now. He moved 200 spots because he just went to one of their camps. He moved up 200 spots. What are you saying? You're saying you were off on that player by 200 spots? It's embarrassing. Your ranking was off by 200. Oh, by the way, he's a verbal commit to Notre Dame. That's why you moved him 200 spots. You don't have a clue what you're doing. You just hope to get it right. Transfers coming in. We're at Nebraska. One linebacker coming in from Montana. Shout out to Vince G here. One linebacker coming in from Montana, and that's it for Nebraska. That guy's a C-. He's equivalent to 4 players, one of them being Terrence Brooks. No, this can't be real. Nebraska does not have a C-. Their spring transfer portal on what they could have gained. Remember, they had nobody jump in the portal. That's what everybody was talking about. Oh my God, they have such great chemistry and team unity, and they got no one jumping in the portal. The coaching staff tricked all the players not to jump in. They have good culture and all this shit. Say what you want, bro. I'm looking at the players they're signing, and do you know about Micah Mazkua? Do you know that he was suspended for half a game and it should have been more because he decided to start throwing punches in the middle of a game last year? And before that, he was arguing with the coaching staff and tried to leave and jump back in the transfer portal when he transferred in from Baylor to Florida? That's not a good player. That's not somebody you want in your locker room. He's just 6'5", 335, so you think he's good. And they rated him high coming out of high school, so they keep talking about him. They're just giving these dudes stars and random shit. Like, they don't know these guys. Nebraska, C- my ass, bro. If I'm giving Nebraska a grade in the spring transfer portal Nebraska, on your additions, how much did you improve compared to all the other teams? I'm giving you an F. I'm giving you a D. I'm giving you the D, and you're going to like it. A capital D. Hard. Full Diddy. Let's go to Northwestern. They go and give Northwestern a B-. I don't know what they're talking about, giving Northwestern a B-. The players they got in this cycle, I guess you can count Jack Bailey in the cycle. Jack Bailey sucks. He's coming over because Bill O'Boyle just came over as the offensive line coach from Colorado, right? So he's following his offensive line coach. He was with Bill O'Boyle at Coach OB. He was with him at Kent State. This is a young man that's been starting at Kent State, starting at Colorado. He wears the neck roll, bro. Watch the tape. It's not good. Mike Wright, not good. Not good, Mike Wright, but you're coming over to Northwestern. They need a quarterback. You still have yet to transfer outside of the Power 5. I don't understand what Mike Wright's doing. Going from Vandy to Mississippi State to Northwestern. He wants a Northwestern degree. I'll do this if this is an academically driven decision. I'll do it. But if it was all academics, then you should have never found your ass at Mississippi State on the bench. There's no Mississippi State degree is not the notoriety that you're looking for. Come on now, let's be real. I'm not there to shit on them. I'm just keeping it real. So I don't like the move at all. Cooper Lovelace leaving USC, going into this is nuts, bro. They only signed 2 offensive linemen and a quarterback. And what did they lose? They lost their starting quarterback. They lost the receiver. Transfers coming out. What did they lose? Come on, man. I don't understand how, I don't understand how Northwestern gets a B- with these signings right here. That's a B-. That's equivalent to what Indiana got? You don't know what the hell you're doing. Rivals, you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's a joke. That's a joke in itself. It's embarrassing. Ohio State gets a C-. Lower. How does Ohio State get a C- in the spring? They signed a punter and a safety who's never played. What are we doing? They signed a punter and a safety who's never played. Gave him a C-. Bro, give him a D. Give him the hard D again. Oregon gets a B-. Again, the Indiana grade. Let's see who Oregon got in the spring. 2 players. Derek Harmon, good defensive lineman, and Peyton Woodard, a player who's never played. A guy you just are hyping up. And they keep addressing their secondary because they're not happy with the players they have in their secondary. I don't like it. I would give them a C, a hard C. I would spit on it. A hard C. Penn State. Looking at who Penn State got this spring, absolutely nobody. Penn State signed no one in the spring. They got a C-. They couldn't even get a D or an F. What is that? Oh, they're like, oh, well, look who they held on to. They lost their leading receiver. They lost their leading receiver. You gave them a C-. They signed nobody. You gave them the same grade as Illinois. What? They lost King Mack, 4 stars. They lost Malik McClain, former Florida State wide receiver. Now at Arizona State. What? I'm Little John over here. I'm like, what? Okay. This shit is wild. Penn State is an F. Purdue, in the spring, they made all their moves in the winter. Let me make that very clear. They didn't do much in the spring but get a punter. That's a low grade for Purdue. Don't care. That's a low grade for Purdue. All they signed was a punter. Spring grades, bro. Spring grades. Rutgers got a C. I could only imagine how they got a C. They got 1 player, an offensive tackle. That gives you a C? Shout out to Shedrick, by the way. Shedrick Rhodes, coming out of Eagles Landing Christian. Got a lot of love for him out here in Georgia. It is what it is. UCLA. How are you not giving UCLA an A? What are we doing? What are we doing? UCLA kept their whole team together with a coaching change. Bring in a starting lineman from Louisville. Depth, tight end, defensive lineman in the rotation, a quarterback for the future. Kalen Moore used to play at isn't he a Colorado kid? Transferred to Cal last year? Come on, man. What are we doing? Nuts. Let's go to USC. They got the same grade as UCLA. Who did USC sign in this spring? Hey, they signed some players in the spring. Greedy Vance, going to be in the rotation, probably your nickelback. Kyle Ford, just depth in the wide receiver room. I don't think it's a big move. He's never played anywhere. Literally never played anywhere. Jay Fair, the leading receiver off of Auburn last year. They pick him up. We're getting the same grade as Oregon. This is crazy. Northwestern signed 2 offensive linemen and got the same grade as USC. Man, we ain't doing this shit. Gavin Myers, a rotational piece. We ain't doing this shit. This is embarrassing, bro. Somebody had to put their name on this. Somebody put their name on this, bruh. Rivals put their name on it. Let's look at Washington. Washington got the highest grade in the whole conference this spring. They got a B+. Washington gets a B+, and when you look at them, what does it take to get an A? I bet SEC teams got an A. Washington brought in an absorbent amount of players in the spring. Young, talented players. Kevin Green was the third wide receiver at Arizona. Jordan Washington, a high 4-star running back, just been there for a couple of weeks at Arizona, coming over, following his coaching staff. They brought over Enoch here from Ohio State. Good recruit. Hayden Moore, another recruit from Michigan. I don't know what we're doing. Kalecki's going to start. This is a former kid. I think Kalecki used to play at Cal. Transferred to Nevada for one season. He's going to show up and play. Washington needs him. Jaden Wayne can play. Shout out to Miami. I don't know, dude. I don't know what it takes by these websites. And then we'll go to Wisconsin last. Wisconsin only signed Brandon Lane, a good player, not that great, out of Stephen F. Austin. He's in the rotation, not a big deal. Joseph Griffin, though? Bruh, Joseph Griffin is one of the leading wide receivers in the transfer portal in the spring cycle. That when I watched his tape, he's 6'3", they say 6'4", but he's 6'3", okay? 6'3", 210. This dude's it, bro. Joe Griffin can play football. He's being held back by the quarterback play at Boston College. Thomas Castellanos can't throw the ball down the field. This kid is good. He's been starting from day one. And he just transferred to Wisconsin, a team that has a loaded wide receiver room. Man, it's a great addition to get. Elijah Hills, stud. I know. He's if you didn't watch Anton, like you didn't watch his teammate who just led the country in sacks, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But when you go turn on film, you're going to see certain players. Oh, Elijah came over in January. I shouldn't talk about it. My bad. It's right here. It's just these three. 3 players. Northwestern got a B- for getting 3 players. Wisconsin gets a C, and they've got guys who've been starting from day one. It's fucking nuts, bro. It's disgusting the way Rivals does their stuff. I hope you guys don't go to these websites and take anything they say as fact. They're recruiting for dummies. You guys ever been to the bookstore and seen those big yellow books that say things like, it'll be like cyber hacking for dummies. It'll be cooking for dummies. This is recruiting for dummies. Rivals, On 3, 24/7 Sports, recruiting for dummies. And then when they take something they do, like recruiting rankings, and try to apply it to the transfer portal where those rankings don't matter anymore. We don't give a shit how many stars these players had. I care about production and whether or not you were better than players on a Saturday or every day at practice. Your ranking from high school has no weight with me. I don't care. I'll say a former 4-star, a former 5-star, but you know when they'll say it? When he's a bust. That's when they'll say it. They'll be like, former 5-star so-and-so didn't pan out. He's a bust. You know why he's a bust? Because you named him a 5-star player. If you didn't name him a 5-star player, he wouldn't be a bust. He ain't a bust if he shows up to practice and the other guys are better than him. That's not a bust. They're better than him. You rated the players wrong. Every time I see a player move 200 spots on a ranking, you missed by 200. Try to make the player move by 200 spots before he gets an offer, before he makes a commitment. Try to identify those players. I do high school film reviews on TikTok, and whenever I watch film, I go, man, this 0-star guy, he's FBS caliber. Right now, I say, yo, that guy belongs on a team, and guess what happens? Guess what happens? Apples and oranges, baby. I'm telling you, I just looked at a kid not too long. He had no Power 5 offers, just committed to Illinois. I looked at another one, no Power 5 offers. I say, yo, this is FBS. Better wake up. Call it like I see it. When you start identifying talented players before the universities, I'll listen to you. But you guys don't do that. You don't. You go, you ask the kid who he's got interest from, who he's got offers from, and you let those offers and those interests dictate your rankings. And that's because those schools, recruiting departments, are better at assessing the talent than you. That's why they find 3-stars that can make their team and make it to the NFL. They're better at assessing the talent than you are. You know, it's a reactionary thing when you guys go, and if you were to go look at all of Georgia's 3-star players and start re-ranking them, because you got to realize if Georgia values them, they did their evaluation properly. They know how to evaluate talent. They're doing something right in their program. If you evaluate talent correctly, you don't need those websites. So when I see the transfer portal and you're giving out grades, this is a foreign world to you. Everybody thinks it's the same thing. Everybody goes, oh, no, look, they know the recruits. They know the high school rankings. So they got to know the transfer portal. No, they don't. These guys watch high school kids at camps all year and watch 7-on-7 tape. They're not sitting there assessing the players every Saturday. They're not sitting there breaking down how well they're doing at the collegiate level. So for them to try to turn around and pretend like they know the players in the transfer portal, it blows my fucking mind. It blows my mind. You can see it when you go and look at a team like Indiana and you look at the transfer portals coming in and you see this and you're like, oh, wow, you gave CJ West 3 stars and you kept him at 3 stars. Do you understand he's better than any 3-star player you got? That dude's been playing on Saturday for 3 years now. This man, second on his team in tackles at UMass, and you still give him 3 stars. Look at this. Oh, we got to move D'Angelo Pons up. D'Angelo Pons is not a 3-star player. He was ranked above 1,500 coming out of high school. JMU's entire recruiting class was ranked in the 150s as a team because you guys didn't know all the players. Yet their whole starting lineup is 0-star guys because you don't know the players. And now you magically want to give somebody 4 stars. Look at this. 0 stars to 3 stars. Did he just magically become better? No, Sedarius Doss has been that guy. You didn't care to look at his film. You didn't evaluate him. It happens all over the place. Look at this. We're giving Jaden McDonald 0 stars as a transfer. 0 stars. You know why he's 0 now? Because he just committed to UConn. Just committed to UConn. He's 0 stars as a transfer. This man led Troy in tackles last year. He led Troy in tackles. You don't know how to evaluate talent. You're telling me the leading tackler on one of the best group of 5 teams in America is 0 stars. But you'll give a recruit 4 stars. Some dude who fucking ran around in his underwear and went to your camp in Florida, you'll be like, yeah, that guy's 4 stars. Yeah, he's 4 stars. It's embarrassing. These guys got hundreds of tackles to their name. James Carpenter, 0 stars out of high school. Yep, now you want to know Aiden Fisher. It's gross. Sick of all the websites. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows.